To Taranaki, where questions are being asked about the involvement of the new Plymouth Mayor in a meeting about the sale of reserve land in the city, including the transfer of $2.25 million to a private golf club. Arrangements for the meeting, revealed in emails released to RNZ under the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act, come as the council considers 4,000 submissions on the potential sale of the reserve land to developers. And as Robin Martin reports, a former mayor and at least one current councillor believe there's been a lack of transparency. Here is our Taranaki reporter.
The emails show that Rudy Gesterkamp, the author of a confidential proposal involving the reserve land, tried to arrange a meeting with the Mayor of New Plymouth, Neil Holdham, early in November 2017. The proposal involved the council paying the New Plymouth Golf Club, where Mr Gesterkamp is a member, $2.25 million to facilitate the Fitzroy Golf Club giving up its lease on the reserve land, making it easier for the council to sell it. On November the 2nd, Mr Gesterkamp, a former colleague of Mr Holdham's at the Lions Company Powerco, emailed the Mayor to set up the meeting.
Hi Neil. After our talk the other day, my head has been spinning at the long list of win-wins if you pursue a different approach that are going begging for all three parties and the citizens of New Plymouth. I think your offer to Fitzroy should be different. Could we catch up some time for me to explain?
The pair emailed back and forth throughout the day before agreeing to meet at 11 a.m. the following Monday, November the 6th. But both men denied that the meeting ever took place. When a document detailing the proposal, headlined Highly Confidential and Urgent, surfaced in March this year, Mr Holdham told RNZ he had no knowledge of it.
I've never seen the document offering the Fitzroy Golf Club anything to do with MPDC apart from the historic lease documents. So no. So
there's never been a proposal on the table to pay the New Plymouth Golf Club to pick up those members to facilitate them vacating the lease somewhat earlier?
I'm not aware. No, I'm not aware of any letter or any agreement.
The Mayor went on to invite RNZ to file an official information request, which revealed the November email exchange about arrangements to meet Mr Gesterkamp.
You know, I would encourage Radio New Zealand to send a local government information request for any document that fits that description, because that does not sound like a council document or anything that I've had any involvement in. And if you've got any further questions, send them through to Jacqueline.
I've got one further question. Have you got... But later that same afternoon in March, the council's acting chief executive, Alan Bird, released a statement saying that he and the Mayor had met with the New Plymouth Golf Club and discussed the Fitzroy land.
We listened to them, but no agreements or commitments were made. We advised New Plymouth Golf Club the proposal relating to the land would be subject to the 10-year plan consultation process, and the MPDC would continue to engage directly with the Fitzroy Golf Club.
Although Mr Holdham contacted RNZ to say he had made a mistake, that excuse doesn't wash with former Mayor David Lean.
The Mayor can talk to who he likes to. You don't suggest you haven't had a bar of anything when in fact history proves that you have.
An opponent of the reserve land sale, Mr Lean believes the confidential proposal smacks of council involvement.
Well, if you have a look at that document and check on about page 4 or page 5, it actually says that the Mayor is driving this. It actually says that the Mayor is driving this. And the information about the timing required for the long-term plan submissions, that's hardly the stuff that happens outside of council. So it's got to come from somewhere in council.
Veteran councillor John McLeod thinks all the cards should be on the table.
I think all council business should be open and forward, and everything should be open, and particularly to councillors. Councillors should be privy to what the hell's going on.
Councillor Gordon Brown says only the Mayor will know what really happened.
What I will say is that I think it's important for the Mayor to be very transparent and keep his councillors informed in any meetings of such a significant nature all the time. And the relationship with the media is an important one as well, and that's based, both relationships are based on transparency and honesty.
Mr Brown says Mr Holdham has given councillors an assurance that he had no input into Mr Gesterkamp's proposal. Councillor Marie Pearce says she has no problem with the Mayor meeting with people to hear their views on particular issues because eventually it would have to come before the council anyhow. Ms Pearce felt Mr Holdham, who is a first-time mayor, is still coming to terms with the job.
He's a new mayor and he hadn't been a councillor prior to being elected as mayor. I think it takes a while to understand how local government works. I think he's having a learning curve.
Mayor Holdham has declined an interview and referred RNZ to his communications manager, who says the meeting never took place. Mr Gesterkamp says he was hoping to meet the mayor, but it was called off.
We were working towards that, but then he rang me back and said, actually, I'm canning the meeting, Rudy, because on reflection, we're thinking, that's him and his council, senior council staff are thinking it's not a good idea for him and I to meet.
Mr Gesterkamp's proposal for the two golf clubs to amalgamate went no further when the Fitzroy Golf Club rejected it. But as part of its draft long-term plan, the New Plymouth Council is still proposing to sell part of Paringa Reserve, including half of the Fitzroy Golf Club, to housing developers for $35 million. A record 4,000 plus submissions have been made on the plan and hearings begin next week. I ngā mutu mo te hōtaka o te ahiahi, ko Robin Martin Aho.